in my life, but there are things that I cannot forget and I cannot put down. I believe with all of my heart that the white man is the devil, and I must teach that he is the devil. I cannot back down from that. I must teach that he is the devil. All praise is due to Allah. Whether you like me or not, whether you accept me or not, whether you condemn me or not, whether you suspend me or not, the goddamn white man is the devil, and I will teach it from the cradle to the grave. Always teach it. Because I know that you are a fickle people. I know that you are a flip-flop, wishy-washy people. I know that you are different strokes for different folks, but it's different ways on different days. Oh, yes, you are. God damn it, if somebody don't continue to remind you, you'll try to walk in the slave theater with Susie Runwickle on your arm. Yes, you will. God damn it, sister, you'll try to come in here with Bob, Bill, Larry. Sister will try to come in here with Merv, with Doug. God damn it, Doug can't come in. Cindy, Kathy, keep Heather the hell out of here. No Heather in here. Hell no. This is the slave theater. Well, why does Brother Alton Maddox leave the name slave on it? Because, God damn it, we're still in the land of our bondage. We're still in the land of captivity. We're still a slave to the Democratic Party, still a slave to a Republican Party. You can't even see a Freedom Party. You don't see it. You're a slave. I'm a slave. And unless we admit that we are slaves, then we can never get free. Never get free. The first thing a slave must do is admit I'm in bondage. Admit I'm in captivity. Admit that I'm a slave and Giuliani is a slave master. Admit that I'm a slave and Clinton is a slave master. Admit that I'm a slave and Cuomo is a slave master. That's the only way you can get free. Stop walking around acting hip, slick, cute, and cool with Oochie and Coochie and Poochie and Gucci and all that stuff. You're a slave. You can't wait to get out of here and get a good night's sleep so you can go to your elevator plantation tomorrow. You're a slave. You're a slave to your car note. You're a slave to your rent. You're a slave to your lease. You're a slave to your telephone bill. You're a slave to your light bill, your gas bill. You're a slave. And God damn it, this is the slave theater, and all the radical slaves come here. The Nat Turner slaves come here. The Harriet Tubman slaves come here. The Denmark Vesey slaves come here. This is the slave theater. All praise is due to Allah. This is the slave theater. I'm a slave. As I told Devil Hugh, Phil Devil Hugh, I say I'm one of the rebellious slaves. I'm not a peaceful slave. I'm not a compromising slave. I'm not a skinning, grinning, shuffling, scratching, boot-licking, butt-licking slave. I'm a slave that don't give a damn about you. Don't care nothing about you. Don't give a damn whether I see another or not. I want to be free. I'm a slave who wants to organize the rest of the slaves. I looked at the crackers on 125th Street. Some of you trembled when you saw them. I was inspired. I couldn't sleep. I was dreaming of confrontation with the enemy. Every slave must dream of confrontation with the enemy. I want to organize some black men. What would have happened if 500 black men would have showed up on 125th Street? I ain't talking about with no damn picket sign.
Another edition of Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, your sister Marcia, and your brother Blacksmith will be joining us shortly. Glad to be black with y'all for another Thursday. Brother Tad, you ready? Brother Tad, what's good? What's good?
Peace, Sister Keisha. Peace to the family. Yeah. Glory
Glad
to
to be
God.
black for another week, brother.
Praise Nat Turner. Glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. A Bibi Fahodiye family.
I
Oh
knew that'd
man.
make you feel good, brother Tad.
I saw that video today and it just brought back good memories. And it was bittersweet, Sister Keisha. Because while I was listening to it, I was getting off the train at Franklin and Fulton. And as he was talking about the slave theater and why do we call it the slave theater, and I'm like, damn, I missed the slave theater. I missed the slave theater. I missed the UAM forums of the 90s. And oh man. And I mean, you know what's crazy, Sister Keisha, because they say hindsight is always 2020. And I knew it was valuable back then. That's why I made it my business to be there, even though I didn't know anybody. Every Wednesday, I made my business to be in the building. Even if I didn't know who the speakers were, I made it my business to be in the building. But as we look back and remember those times and all of the speakers and even the whole community was fighting for what we got to deal with today. We were fighting so this time that we're in right now would not exist. And so many of our people, not the conscious ones, not the ones who was at the slave and first world and all that stuff. Not those folks. Our family members, our neighbors, our coworkers, people we try to get them to come out. They thought everything would be fine. Oh no, that's so long ago. These times have changed. And just as we see current events, they're just rolling back the clock. Everybody who used to say, I couldn't have been a slave back then, your chance is coming. Your chance is coming. Just want to see what you're going to do. But that's a hell of a way to start off the day. I'm feeling blessed and highly favored, Sister Keisha. What's going on with you?
I knew you would enjoy that, brother Tad. Shout out to King Simon for sending that out to us earlier today. Shout out to King
shout out
Simon.
to our brother King Simon. I spoke to King Simon over the weekend too. We were supposed to get up, because I was down in Georgia, but our schedules didn't connect and link up. Because he was up here with Reza Islam.
Fact. Shout out to Nicholas Brooklyn.
Yes,
they hosted Reza Islam this Saturday. So if you got a chance to get out there and see it, chime in, let us know what it was, because we were busy.
And what's the address? What's the address again? Because I just think Restoration. Because we definitely want
I say Restoration.
Yes, Nicholas Brooklyn on Fulton Street between New York Avenue and Brooklyn Avenue. Fulton Street between New York Avenue and Brooklyn Avenue. Nicholas Bookstore. You get your oils, your books, your crystals, your incense, True Six, sage, palm readings, back massage.
Everything.
Get everything.
Food, DJ.
Definitely get some food. Shout out to Coconut Raw who be out there with the dope juices. Definitely shout out to Coconut Raw out there. Oh man, fresh squeezed juices. Sister Cafunia, brother Unc Rising Son, the whole family over there.
Yes, brother Hassan, all of them over there. So shout out again to Nicholas Brooklyn. They got a lot of events coming up, family. So you want to follow them so that you can be in the place when they have these things going down. So follow Nicholas Brooklyn on Instagram so that you can be in the know. To know what's
I
going
definitely
on.
wanted to see brother Reza Islam, but I went to the Charlemagne's Black Effect Podcast Festival, which is dope. I got a lot of information, sis. We definitely gonna chop it up about that, because as we know, podcasting is a new It's a new industry. It's a young industry. We see they done took over hip hop and things like that. But podcast is a new space for our voices. But as you know, Sister Keisha, because you speak legalese, there's rules of engagement, things we can and can't do. And that's something that we need to learn as we move forward, you know. Because though they're trying to roll it back, just in the spirit of our ancestors, we resist all of that. We resist all the pressure. So they can't hold us back. You put a little obstacle, but we'll hop right over it, you know. So we're going to
Speaking
be
of
fine.
time to roll it back, I know that all of you have heard in the news of what's going on in Louisiana. Now, wealthy white Louisiana residents win the right to split from Baton Rouge and form their own city. A group of wealthy white Baton Rouge residents won a decades-long battle to split from the majority black city and form their own suburb following a state Supreme Court ruling. Now, I want you all to think back to Hurricane Katrina. I want you all to remember when people were trying to escape the rising waters that were encompassing the city of New Orleans, and they were reaching various bridges. Don't forget that white folks were shooting at the black residents who were trying to escape the rising waters from crossing over into these parishes. So let's not act like we don't know that this type of mindset is rampant in New Orleans. You can never forget the testimony of all of those persons, survivors, if you will, of Hurricane Katrina, tell their story of what happened to them. And also, you can't forget that here on Thorough Black Talk, we constantly reiterate that they are trying to, well, they are not trying to, but they are repealing laws uh, that will further shackle our aggression for freedom that possibly can possibly put us back in chains someday. And I know that seems a little bit far fetched for a lot of people, but this is definitely a reality. The United Snakes of America is on its descend, and they will do everything in their power to make sure that they maintain the status quo. Read the title of that book for our family, Brother Tad.
Sundown Towns, a hidden dimension of American racism. And I was just reading the passage on how Democrats was calling the Republican nigger lovers for trying to let us move in certain places. I tell you, it's yeah. So as you talk about Louisiana, yeah. If we take the time to read our story, we learn ain't nothing new under the sun. A lot of times when we talk about what's that? Be home by the time the street lights came on, that came from our time of spending
And people
time.
don't realize where those sayings come from, Brother
Yeah,
Tad. Be home before the street lights catch you.
it's
Why were
called
our
Sundown Town.
elders telling us that?
Yeah.
We got to connect the dots here, family. Go ahead, Brother Tad.
No, it's just amazing because, like you said, what they just passed this bill yesterday, day before yesterday. And it's just amazing because, unfortunately, our folks don't realize the severity of what's going on. Like I always say, pistols and passports, pistols and passports. Be ready to leave or be ready to fight. And they done open the floodgates so that they can have more allies. Because, like we said before, on this station, on this channel, we seen this 100 years ago when they sent for the Southern Europeans, made them honorary white people because all these other folks weren't considered white. You had to be WASP. So they brought the Southern Jews, the Italians, more Irish because they brought the Irish in the beginning. And now you got your Spanish people who are about to be honorary white folks. And they ain't got no money for our reparations, but they got monies for wars and migrants. Ain't that crazy? Then they just say they get ready to send the Ukraine. How many? I think about 70 billion.
96 billion.
So I'm thinking 70 billion, 96 billion. That $96 billion. That's damn near $1 trillion. That's damn near $1 trillion. And we fighting for our jobs and little bum ass raises. Pardon my language. We got a bum ass mayor who want to be a rapper and stuff all on the Drink Champs. It's crazy out here, but it's all right because some of us have been prepared. Some of us have been prepared for these things, for times like this we had. So you tell a friend to tell a friend. You like, subscribe, and share this channel, and hopefully we don't, get kicked off because YouTube like doing that to people. You talk too much of that black stuff, you got to go.
I don't know why. Shout out to the BK William Mackey History Club. But I don't know why for the life of me, whenever Brother Ray try to upload my lectures, he always get a flag. Always. So and you got to remember, family, those of us who are spewing real truth, a lot of us are watched. A lot of us are flagged. Brother Black tells you that all the time. A lot of us are watched and a lot of us are flagged. We are the drivers of society right now. We've been telling you guys that for quite some time. We've had video where vice presidents of CNN have confirmed that they watch streamers to decide what they want to talk about. We are leading the pack here. Brother Black, what's good with you? How you feeling?
What's up, Sister Keisha? What's up, Brother Tad? How y'all doing today?
Peace, Brother Black.
Did you get
highly favored?
Have you been victimized by any migrants today?
Never. I ain't been victimized by no white folks. God bless me with these hands. The Bible, the Quran, every holy book tell you God worked through the hands of man.
Yes, man.
You act devilish with the God if you want to.
Uh-huh. Peace, y'all. Hey, I love that Khalid piece at the beginning. I was waiting for him to say, and if the police approach you, get up on his gun side.
That's right.
That he was known for that saying. That was as soon as they come, get up on his gun side. He come up on you, you have the right. He's in your space. You have the right to get up on his gun side. As soon as he reach for it, put him out of his misery.
Sister Marie, they flagging you for your music videos because it's good content. And I bet you if you was doing Sexy Red, talk about your booty hole brown and all that, you ain't get flagged at all. Meanwhile, as Brother Taz said, our mayor here in New York is sitting up on Drink Champ talking a bunch of nonsense. Yo, I like what I Am Ray. I like his videos. Follow him on the gram. He be going in. And he keep it 100. Here we go.
Look, y'all, our mayor done made it to fucking Drink Champs. Our mayor done made it to Drink Champs, up there scratching his head, lying like a damn fool. You supposed to be out here fixing the potholes, my G. You up there taking shots, answering questions about hip-hop. Do you know that ever since you got this mayor job, you have been on a fucking world tour? When is the mayor of New York ever in Miami? The fuck is you doing on South Beach? The migrants are over here wilding. Potholes is still broke. And you up there scratching your head, lying, looking like a fool, like, yeah. Look, y'all, our mayor done made it to fucking Drink.
Yo, he keep it 100. I like I Am Ray. He keep it 100. I like watching his videos. But Mayor Eric Adams, stop capping. Everything you do, either you capping, you clout chasing, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Wearing yarmulkes and all this old kind of foolishness. I mean, come on.
Dinkies used to do that all the time too.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Shucking and jiving. I tell you, the more black folks we put into office, the worse our conditions get. So that's why I had to start out with Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. And I'm glad that illustration or animation was done of a video of Dr. Collins speaking from the slave theater, the United African member speaking at the forum. Like Brother Taz said, it was a force to be reckoned with. Trust and believe the United African movement was a force to be reckoned with. The reason why a lot of you are streaming right now is because of the cases that the United African movement threw itself into to help you. The reason why you can meet with 2 or more of your buddies without inviting white folks is because we made it so. And this history, I'm going to keep telling this history because they're trying to bury it. They trying to bury it. And we were talking about some of these older scholars who bicker with each other and getting called out for their own shenanigans because they like straddling the fence. Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad and Alton Maddox and others would go in on these scholars that a lot of you love on these platforms today. 2 in particular that I'm talking about who like to straddle the fence. And would tell them, not behind their backs, in their face, what they were doing was wrong. But y'all love them though. And these people straddle the fence, especially when a little pressure is applied. So, that's one of the reasons why the Black freedom movement, is pretty much non-existent other than these internet spaces. Right? Nobody is in the courtroom changing policies to make things so anymore.
What about Hakeem Jeffries?
Now, he go already. You know Hakeem Jeffries is a goddamn clown. You know he's a clown. And he was out there too, talking about standing with Israel.
Israel, yeah.
Standing against the Palestinian protesters. Why not stand against both of them? Because when you look at the history, as Brother Tad laid out on this platform a couple of times already, they cancel each other out. They cancel each other out. And I'm not getting involved in other people's fights. We got our own fights.
Facts.
I think Jeffries needs to stay focused on his district. He is the leader of the Democratic Party right now. And Black people still suffering. That means you're a failure, Congressman Jeffries. You are an absolute failure. That's what it means. If your peoples are still suffering, you failed. Eric Adams, look at this fool. Just look at this fool. This y'all mayor. Y'all voted this dude.
Are you Eric Adams? Yeah, fuck you. You support the genocide in Palestine. There are homeless people all over New York. You're always partying. You don't actually care about the citizens of New York. Why are you even in Miami? You know there are people being arrested there. People are homeless in New York. People cannot afford food. You keep cutting the education budget so you can fund the police. That's all you care about, funding the police. Everything is underfunded because of you. Trying to get
He's a clown. He gets pulled up on. Every chance they get, people pulling up on him because he's a clown.
Hey,
need a mask.
Hey, Tad, you better take Sister Keisha's passport before she get arrested.
Look, we both gonna be going to jail because I agree 100%. It's senseless. I mean, seriously, I've been working legally since I was 18 years old. Always had a job. Taxpaying citizen. Not my supplementary income, but for the most part, I'm a taxpaying citizen. But it's so crazy that my particular group, my community, Black folks, are in dire need of so many resources, and here all this money getting allocated to foreigners. This is treason. All of this is treason. It's high treason. How do you take the citizens' money and fund other folks' wars and fund other folks to come here who aren't even citizens and give them all of this money? Let them live on Billionaires Row in nice high-rise hotels that none of us could afford. Like, this is crazy. This is treason in every man. And then look, and this ain't the cake for Trump, but then they want to be mad at Trump, who says make America great again. I mean, I don't want to get into those semantics. However, If we're not gonna put this place first, then what are we doing as citizens, politicians, whatever, whatever, whatever? That's why Freedom Party is so important, because where is our voice as the people who literally built this country and gave this country its soul, gave this country its wealth, made this country what it is, literally. Black folks, through all the musical genres we created, through all of the entertainment, through all of the scholarships, through all of the activist movements that had other leaders coming to this country just on the strength of what us as Black folks was given the blueprint on how do you resist a superpower. Kwame Nkrumah and all others, so many other people. Garvey said he was coming here because of the way we have resisted. And come on, man. And where's our place in the world? They trying to write us out of history. They taking the money that we legitimately earning within this system. Because anytime you operate outside of this system, they're going to lock you up or they're going to pop your head off. So we doing what we can with what we got, like we've always done. Even on the plantation, and even then, we still getting a foot to the ass. You know what I mean? When are we going to come together? Because now we see the world is getting smaller. We don't have to stay here. We don't have to. We see Africa is organizing in an attempt to reclaim its sovereignty, not independence, but true sovereignty. Because independence is not freedom. But this is the semantics. You know, they playing technology. A 12-year-old is independent. You send them to school by themselves, cross the street by themselves, ride the train by yourself. You're independent, but you're not sovereign because you still have to answer to mom and dad. Same thing with these independent nations. You want sovereignty. You want freedom. You want self-determination, Kuji Chakalia. That's what you want. You want African liberation. That's why I say pistols and passports. We can play with it all we want, but don't get your P's confused. Pistols and passports. And they are showing us. They're showing us. They don't give a damn about Black folks. We have to give a damn about each other. But they constantly streaming us a steady diet of genocide. Where's our voice? This is our voice. This platform is our voice. And even then, they're trying to push us off in the corner and silence us. But you know, you can't crush the African spirit. Come on. I'm going to get off my soapbox. We just getting started.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We are the cubs of greats. And that's the problem. We are the cubs of greats, and they know that. That's a problem for them. But it's a victory for us. Always look at yourself in the victory, never as a failure. Because as I talked about at the Mackey study group last night, and I put in the chat for everyone a free copy of Tom Burrell's book, Brainwashed.
One of my favorite books.
Yes. And he talks about the constant marketing to us to be where we are and how we are. When you talk about Black men allegedly not being good fathers or wanting to repel from fatherhood is because, first of all, it was illegal for them to be fathers. You have to remember that when we came here in chains, it was illegal for the Black man to be a father, right? Then you have to consider, as we often talk about, that pathology that continues to be passed down from generation to generation to generation. And that's a constant battle that we have with each other to accept over sexualization of Black women as normalcy. That's problematic. It's because we're being marketed to constantly. It's a 24-hour propaganda campaign, and we have to know how to bob and weave this mess. So on Facebook, on Twitch, and on YouTube, there you have a free copy of Tom Burrell's book, Brainwashed, and you guys can read it at your own leisure. You're very welcome, Sister Farnessa. So again, discussing a lot of Tom Burrell's philosophy, and I think he's one of the most underrated critical thinkers of our time. And I think his work really needs to be studied. Last night I talked about the marketing genius that is behind Beyonce. Now, it's not that I'm promoting Beyonce or anything like that. Let me be perfectly clear. But her ability to drive business without even having a direct connection to it is magnificent. You can say the same thing for Kanye West. But the reason why I brought up Beyonce is because Tom Burrell mentions her in his book. So that's why I use the comparison. But last night I showed various articles, at least 10 articles, that talks about the growth of business because of the release of Beyonce's country-esque album. Those of us who are real country music fans understand that it's really not a country album. However, it is country-esque. And the brilliance of that, and the reason why she was uh, uh, given such high honors as being the first black woman to win an award for such a thing is because of the marketing strategy behind her using country greats that they call country greats to do songs with, like Dolly Parton and Willie Nelson, to solidify her in that genre. And I have been talking about black artists who are doing exceptionally well in the genre that no one that I know ever heard of. However, she had the fortitude to understand that she needed to record duets with those very same artists that I talked about earlier. And the streaming searches for Black country artists since the release of Carter has grown exponentially. So we have to consider the genius of Black folks. Still, even though she has no direct contact or connection with um, companies like Boot Barn, Boot Barn has over 600% increase in sales and searches for cowboy boots, cowboy hats, and things of that attire, of those mechanisms rather, that they had never had before. You have high end footwear brands who are now producing cowboy boots on the strength of Beyonce's Cowboy Carter. Again, she has no direct connection with these brands or entities, but the release of her album creates money for them. And this is the genius for Black folks. This is why they don't want to let you go. Because even in your ignorance, you create trillions for them in your ignorance. Could you imagine if we were all brilliant? What we could do? It's
Hey,
funny. Funny how that works. Go ahead, Brother Black.
you want to touch that proposal she threw at Jason Aldean and what he said? Did you hear about that?
Go ahead and tell him, Brother Black.
Jason Aldean reached out to his people and he basically called her a monkey and nigger. I don't want to be down with her and that type of shit. So basically, I didn't get too deep into it. I just I just ran by a story and saw that. So, you know.
Well, we know what John Schneider said, right? Calling her a beast, a dog in heat, and all kind of foolishness. This from the man who starred in a sitcom with the correct Confederate flag on the hood of his car or the top of his car. So you can't tell me nothing. I already see what to expect from you. Even
and that's funny. That's funny about the mind controllers children. How we used to be rooting for the General Lee.
Come on,
Yeah,
you know, that's crazy.
We ain't no better.
No, we didn't. And
that's the like problem. I said, even in our ignorance.
That's the problem. We didn't know no better. And I didn't even know Boss Hall, Jefferson Davis Hall, was named after the president of the Confederacy, Jefferson Davis. All of this subliminal psychological self-hate that was programmed into us to root for the bad guys.
Most of them counties especially in the South that used to be named after indigenous people, like Cobb County right outside of Atlanta.
Yeah.
He was a staunch racist too. A lot of them counties with English names in the South, especially Most of them dudes were Confederates.
But you know what I do love, Black? Real quick, I love that through our activism and our self-determination, at least here in New York, a lot of streets are being named after us. Even my cousin that passed away, my cousin Sherry, on Staten Island, they named her block after her. And she's not even a celebrity, but just because of her community work. And that's what we have to do. We have to stay diligent in our efforts, because a lot of times we think it's going to happen overnight, because we can turn this around. Because even when I was in Africa, when I walked in the dungeons, when I walked out the dungeons, I always said, we are our ancestors' prayers, because we can come and go as we please. For many of us, we don't got the proper mindset because we feel like we're tied to this plantation called the U.S. That's why I keep advocating pistols and passports. We don't have to stay anymore. We don't have to. And I get it. We're dealing with the same dilemma that Harriet Tubman dealt with. Because when Harriet Tubman escaped the plantation, she physically was free, but mentally and emotionally she wasn't, because her family wasn't with her. So she went back to get her loved ones. See, that's the part we don't talk about. Because what good is freedom? What good is good fortune if the people you love can't share it with you? See, I've been to Africa 4 times, but how is that? I'll go to Africa. I set up shop in Africa, but my family's not there. My family's still here fighting this fight. That, you know what I mean? So this is why it's so important we win the hearts and minds of our people, for them to see the bigger picture. Because, again, back to Dukes of Hazzard, with this steady diet of ignorance and genocide and self-hate, we can't see our way off the plantation. That's why there's a Juneteenth. I think even what was it? One of the guests we had said that her grandfather was enslaved until recently, within our lifetime. We have to break the shackles on our minds. And that's the hardest part. It's not the physical part, because everybody turning up, everybody got their passport. You got the passport bros, you got the girls trip, everybody leaving the country. Ain't nobody thinking about, yo, how can I make this my permanent home? The weather's nice, the food is good, you ain't got Monsanto in the pineapples. Like, how can we enjoy that on a consistent basis? Because, see, nobody likes complainers. What we do here on this platform is we identify the problem so that we can get to the solution. Because you can't get to the solution if you don't know what the problem is. And the problem is the way we think, the way we eat, the things that we find entertaining. Because, again, this country will collapse without us. All the inventions. We talked about culture. We talked about scholarship. Let's talk about engineering and ingenuity. All the things we've done to make this place great. Let's talk about our military minds that helped this country win the wars. Whether it's World War I, II, Revolutionary War, Civil War, they need us.
On a spiritual,
and we're the host. And we gotta
as you say,
Brother
Tad, pistols and passports. Whether we want to adhere to that or not, other folks are. Whether we want to adhere to it or not, other folks are. Let's listen to Madam President. I like her. If you don't follow her,
love Sister Madam President.
Yes, she keep it thorough. So let's listen to this clip, and we'll come back and we'll discuss. She's confirming what other folks are doing that Brother Tad has been saying for quite some time. Here we go.
So I want you all to listen very closely. I read an article that said rich Americans are preparing for possible instability by getting second passports. In fact, in this article, CNBC said that 10 years ago, there were about 30 millionaires that had second passports to prepare for emergencies, instability. If you fast forward to 2024, there are over 100,000 millionaires that basically are getting second passports, dual citizenship, etc. And if you look at the bill that just passed, where we're giving Ukraine $60+ billion, most Americans, most wealthy Americans are aware that America is troubled. America is in a bad place. Okay, so
there you have it, family. You may not listen to what Brother Tad has been saying, But other people are listening. Other people are paying attention. You don't have to listen. It's perfectly fine. I'm telling you. You better have it in order
Get
and
your
work on
stance.
some dual citizenship somewhere. 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 Don't have to be what we
The
say.
huge world out there.
Somewhere. There you go.
The huge
It's
world
somewhere.
out there.
Try for dual citizenship somewhere. And if you're married, let me give all married folks a little tea right now. Ready? Get your pen and your paper. If you want to renew your vows, do it in another country. So you can use that documentation for your dual citizenship. You don't have to believe me. I've already done it. But go ahead. You don't have to believe me. I'm just telling you some easy routes that us married folks can take. Sister Marcia, good to see you. What's good? What's good? What's good?
Peace, family. How's everyone doing today?
Peace, sis. Peace.
Everyone in the chats, I hope everyone is well watching either now or later. Yeah, get your passport, get your dual citizenships. And if, like my home country doesn't offer dual citizenship, but we're definitely fighting to get that going. In our home country because it's important. And at that, you could have dual citizenship in multiple countries. That's something new that I just found out. Because one of my good brothers, he is from the continent and he did it in multiple countries on the continent. And I thought that was really awesome. So
listen, let me cover that for 1 second, y'all, because I lived in Ghana for a while. I lived in Honduras for a while. I've been in different countries for periods of time. So there's religion, there's law, and then there's custom. And when you're sovereign, you can do whatever the hell you want because you're sovereign to the earth, not to a country or to a border. That was created by them. The only two things they created was borders and the patent office. So deal with the custom part of it. Remember when Mos Def went to South Africa? He got stuck there for a few months over the time he was supposed to be there because he had a sovereign passport. They let him leave with the intent of keeping him over there because he was speaking out. Remember, he went on Bill Maher. He's been on. He speaks. Right. He speaks his mind, and I'm sure some of y'all know him personally. So deal with the custom part of it. Don't deal with the law because once you leave these waters, you can do whatever they allow you to do wherever you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good news.
You could pay for a passport in other countries.
You absolutely can pay for dual citizenship. So again, figure out what works for you. Take your time, and you'll come to what works for you. But continuing with this story here in Louisiana, how these white folks are succeeding from their Baton Rouge Union. But I like Baseman. Y'all follow Baseman. Let's listen to Baseman give an explanation, and we'll come back and move on. Here we go.
Hey, good morning. Remember back in 2021 when I said this? Here we have a rich white subdivision in the city of Baton Rouge that wants to separate itself and become its own city because it's tired of sharing its wealth with the poor blacks across town. They say that creating the city of St. George has absolutely nothing to do with race. They just want to create their own schools and communities and effectively resegregate the city. Keep in mind, this is Louisiana. We left America to help create another country called the Confederate, whose foundation was based on the belief that black people should be enslaved to white people forever. Well, on April 26, 2024, the Louisiana Supreme Court ruled in favor of white supremacists and allowed them to secede from the city of Baton Rouge and create their own whites-only city known as the City of St. George. Their reasoning behind it? It's because they filled out all the paperwork, so I guess we have to honor it. And that just isn't happening here in the state of Louisiana. It's happening across the South. You see, our governor, Jeff Landry, is working in connection with other governors across the states like Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida to help them create whites-only cities as well. And their plan for 2025 is to, in essence, revive the Confederate. This is what we're dealing with. Vote.
Not for trash. Don't vote for trash. But I'm telling y'all, a lot of things are being repelled. This is no one and done situation. This is not a one and done situation. So you may not see what's coming down the pike, but my vision is very clear. So I hope y'all vision is
Hey,
very
Sister
clear.
Keisha, real
Go
quick.
ahead, brother.
I spoke on this show about this last year when Mississippi did it, Jackson, Mississippi in particular. They same exact thing. So what he ended with is exactly what I was going to talk about, but I don't need to because he already said it's happening all over the South. Wherever there's a capital city, they trying to segregate uptown from downtown, and we already know the rest.
But they're always going back downtown to do whatever they want to do, right? So as they segregate and do these things, we need to be able to operate in the same vein as well. But
Right.
it takes our people to come together, get our minds right, and operate as a unit. And I think we've said that so many times on this show that it's okay for us to work together at saving and protecting our families.
In such a case, again, I would say self-defense is always a valid reason to defend yourself, to continue surviving.
To bust a head. See, bust a head.
Okay, there you go. You got to. I don't care where you at. You could be in church. You got to defend yourself if your life feels threatened. That's it. That's the only part of life that no one can deny you wherever you at, unless they make up some dumbness that we know that they do to justify it.
Absolutely, because times are getting tough out here for some folks. I know you guys have seen this story. If you haven't, you will today. An 81-year-old Ohio man now indicted on murder charges, shot and whatever. I'm not going to say it here because they're going to flag us. Lalitha Hall at his home. He mistakenly believed the 61-year-old driver, who was unarmed and never threatened or assaulted the man, was working with a scammer. Officials say the victim was sent to the home by the same scammer. So you have these people who do these pranks, if you will. A lot of the gamers do it. They call the police and say something is occurring at your residence.
They
or
call it swatting.
Say that again, brother.
They call it swatting.
Swatting, absolutely, that's it. And they send people to your house, or the police or feds to your home, and it causes problems. Now, this white guy, a 61-year-old black woman, pulled up to his home to deliver a package or to pick up a package. And instead of him listening to what she was saying, he pulled out his firearm and shot her. Let's take a listen and we'll come back and we'll discuss it.
Here behind me is where a scam call turned deadly, and I'm going to step out of the way here so you can get a look here. The man who lives here is accused of shooting and killing an Uber driver. He now faces a murder charge and potential other charges. According to reports, authorities say William Brock had been receiving multiple threatening scam calls the morning of March 25th. The calls were concerning an incarcerated relative, and Brock was told to meet at the courthouse to pay a ransom of $12,000 in bail money, or they would kill him and his relative. Around the same time of the call, Lalitha Hall received directions from the same person or an accomplice, instructing her to go to Brock's home to pick up a package for delivery. Dashcam video from Hall's car shows her arrive to Brock's home to pick up that package. According to reports from the Clark County Sheriff's Office, Brock allegedly had a gun. This video appears to confirm that. The incident report says Brock allegedly took Hall's phone and wouldn't let her leave, and when she tried to go, authorities say Brock then shot Hall. They started fighting, and he shot her 2 more times. Authorities received a call from Brock saying he had shot someone on his property because they were trying to rob him. When units arrived, they found Hall with multiple gunshot wounds, and Brock was bleeding from his head. Hall was flown to Kettering Hospital in Dayton, where she died. Reports say while officials were on scene, Brock's landline phone kept ringing, and when one officer picked it up, the man on the other line said he was an officer. And the real officer explained what happened and asked the caller to meet. And he agreed, but never showed up. We reached out to Uber and they responded with this statement saying in part, quote, "There is no other way to describe this incident than a horrific tragedy. Our hearts continue to be with Lolitha's loved ones as they grieve her sudden loss. We have been in contact with law enforcement and remain committed to supporting their investigation." End quote. Uber also went on to say the account of the individual who ordered the Uber trip has been banned. The sheriff's office is also reminding residents to be extra cautious and that no law enforcement agency or court will call you and demand for bail money over the phone. That goes for any other court functions as well. Reporting in Springfield, Grace Hewitt, 2 News.
This was insane. When I first heard it, it really, really bothered me. Insanity. And to think that, she could barely get out of the way, even though he was moving lethargically, if you will, she could barely get out of the way. And, it's a lot of things in that video that I find deeply disturbing. Sister Marcia, your thoughts on the murder of Miss Lolitha Hall?
So the elder gentleman, oh, I said gentleman, right? The elder Caucasoid.
The old cracker. Go ahead.
That's what he is. I got to call the lawyers, Sister Keisha, again.
What had happened?
Apologies, Sister Marcia. She heard me. She heard what I said.
The old cracker.
Hey, Marcia.
Even though he backed her back into her car, still decided to shoot her. So, God bless Grandma, because she's out there still having to make a living because life must be tough for her, right? Again, as we talk about protection of the family, we have to talk about it on so many different levels, because at a certain age, our parents should not be working. They should be able to live a soft life. But because we don't understand what a soft life means or what it looks like, our parents are still out there trying to make $1 out of 15 cents and loses her life to an old cracker with old cracker ways in his mentality. And this all goes back to things that we were saying or was said earlier about the programming of people. As we are programmed, they are systemically programmed to attack us at any cost. Because I bet you if it was a big black man, he wouldn't have done that. He would not. He probably would have taken him at the porch, not back her up almost to her car. Homegirl was stumbling. Like, yo, I'll leave. And this is what we do. This is what happens because there is no protection in our community. Where is our protection? Sister Keisha, I think I sent you a video on the BQE. Some of those other people in that other cracker community was getting arrested. They had their whole police squad come out to witness the arrest and make sure that the person wasn't harmed in any form. So it's not as if it can't be done. We just don't see the courage within ourselves to protect our community.
Hey, Sister Marcia, are you done? I don't want to cut your wisdom. Okay, I'm surprised. We in an hour on the show. I'm surprised nobody mentioned how they just passed the anti-Semitism bill today based on all these protests they got going on in these colleges. And we ain't get a penny of reparations yet. What's up with that, y'all? I'm going to shut up right now and let the rest of y'all talk.
Because they go where money talks, and our money doesn't talk against policies. Our money is for Louis Vuitton. That's where our money goes. Our money is not going to invest, and Sister Keisha says it all the time, in lobbyists that make sure things happen for us, in policies, and the policies are already out there, but we have no one pushing those policies in exact form for our people. So many people just want to get, Jordans, Kanye's, Louis, all the nice stuff, or what they call nice.
Or that new Balenciaga outfit I'm gonna get for Tad.
How about
the
shoes?
right?
With
From
the
shoulders
shoes,
to
the
the
hook
feet,
to
right?
it, all
I want
that.
too.
How about the pee pants? They got pants stained with pee talking about, yeah.
Hey, if it ain't got three,
Brother Black, I'm gonna get you the Brother Black. I'm gonna get that for you.
Listen, if it ain't got 3 Ks on it, it ain't thorough for me.
He said 3 Ks.
3 Ks. You know who they are.
You want them knocking on your door?
On the new $12,000 Balenciaga Panta shoes. So as you guys can see,
That's what I
these
want
are
for Christmas.
pants and also shoes
You got
at the
it.
same time. So they're made out of calfskin leather, and they have all of this like motocross sportswear detailing going all throughout the pants. Like these pants are freaking crazy, you guys. And then I also
I bet
We're
not
gonna
see
do a GoFundMe
nobody
for Brother
with these
Tad's
on.
pants.
I bet not see nobody with these on.
I'm gonna do a
clowning you
GoFundMe for
forever.
Brother Tad's pants.
The only place them things is cool to wear is in Zestlandia.
He said Zestlandia.
I said that on the show before.
But today it hit well.
How far is that from Pound Town?
It's next to Wakanda. Outside though.
Not Wakanda.
Hey, we make our own laws in Wakanda. We let Zestlandia do them.
Don't do that. Not Wakanda. Black Panther for life.
I said outside next to it. I ain't say in it. It's like the Bronx and Staten Island.
They outside. The Bronx and Staten Island will forever
They
be
don't never
outside.
touch, but they the same city.
But this is the article that Brother Black was talking about. Supreme Court won't hear challenge to Mississippi Jim Crow era ban on voting after some felonies. You know, it is what it is. We keep telling y'all this is where the country is going. This is where and I don't know why it's so hard for people to believe that they won't do everything that they can to put us back in chains. I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. So you better prepare for the worst, because I don't got time, for the foolishness anymore. As Tom Burrell says, we walking around here with many computers. And to be stupid today is no excuse. No excuse. Aunt Marie said, footed PJs like you used to put on when you was babies back in the day.
Right.
I bet not see no grown man walking around with that on, boy. You getting clown for real.
Sis, you're right. People just, every time you talk to people in the street, just regular folks, they're just like, no, that's it. You just being too black, and I'm like, don't you get it? It's like, I feel like slamming their heads on asphalt. Like, yo, things are really happening in bad ways. And they're like, no, I got a job. Everything is good. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, but you're not protected. Nothing that you do, nothing that has ever been created by us is protected for us. But yet people are living off of the light bulb, the gosh darn light bulb, without that filament.
Let's move into this story, or these stories. This came across my timeline as well. This Maxwell Anderson dude who murdered and dismembered Sade Robinson. And what I found very interesting, because a lot of people, I was watching the comments that were coming in about this story. And then you see two others that happened, I think one in 2021 and I think the other in 2019, with Lawrence Smith Fields, I think the one in the middle. out of Bridgeport, Connecticut, the same scenario and situation, where these young black girls are being unalived and dismembered by allegedly folks that they were dating or went out on dates with. Now, there is a recent interview with Sade Robinson's father, and he talks about his daughter in great detail. And one of the things that he said, excuse me, about her, or this alleged relationship with this guy, he says that, you know, this dude was never anybody she would ever date. This is definitely not her type. So he don't know, where these people are getting these things from. As if, you know, a white man can't just snatch up a black girl anywhere and just kill her. As if that can't happen.
It was
So
rumored at the time. If I could for 1 second, Sister Keisha, I remember that case because I researched it instead of just seeing one story. At the time, some people were saying that he was supplying people with drugs through that app. So she could have went there just to get high. I don't know. I didn't never have it verified or denied, but that was out there too. So just to add on to what you were saying, go ahead. I'm done. Think you're on mute.
sorry, the description that her parents and people who knew gave of her, it just seems very unlikely that she would have met this person for the purchase of narcotics. But again, we don't know. But anyway, let's play this clip of her father's interview, and we'll come back and we'll discuss. Here we go.
Sade Robinson. She's the 19-year-old who was killed and mutilated after going on a first date. Fox 6's Bria Jones joins us live now with a look at the exclusive interview. Bria?
Mary, this is a pain that no parent wants to experience. Carlos Robinson lives in Florida, but his heart is right here in Milwaukee with his daughter, Sade Robinson, as the search for her remains continues.
Looking for her head and her arm.
Holding back tears. With each breath, Carlos Robinson is uttering words no father wishes to speak.
A parent to have to deal with this type of trauma and tragedy is inconceivable. It's almost like I wake up to live in a nightmare every day.
He's living with the haunting image of his daughter, 19-year-old Sade Carlina Robinson's death. Authorities say she was killed and dismembered while on a first date with 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson.
Do you know how Sade met Maxwell Anderson?
No, I don't know for sure. He's definitely not my daughter's type. I don't know. I got so many questions I can't answer.
Robinson was last seen on April 1st. The next day, a severed leg was found in Warnemont Park in Cudahy. Her father says he was in disbelief when her mother called him in Florida.
They came here to get my DNA to match up. I was hoping that it wasn't her, what they found.
Sadly, it was Sade's leg. Her car was found torched, and in the coming weeks, more body parts would be discovered across Milwaukee County.
What is it like every time they find a body part to get that notification?
It's like I want to know everything, but then I don't know if I can handle it. It's devastating. She was a beautiful, beautiful soul.
A soul he's hoping the community can help lay to rest by seeking justice and finding the rest of her remains.
She's out there, and I need to find her to be able to put her to rest properly.
Tonight, this memorial outside Sade's job at Pizza Shuttle continues to grow. Her father says that he plans to make his way to Milwaukee to search for himself soon. He's also encouraging people to continue to search for areas where other body parts are found and also along the lakeshore. He tells me that a memorial has been set for May 10th, which is Sade's birthday. Now reporting live in Milwaukee, Bria Jones, Fox 6 News.
That clip is from Fox 6 News, but here you have, not just Sade. Sorry, not just Sade's remains found, but you also have
We lost you for a
body
second.
parts. body parts of other females, and they're trying to identify, you know, find the identity of these females. But what people are in mainstream media are reluctant to say is that what it looks like to me is that we're dealing with a serial killer here. And they don't want to identify this Maxwell Anderson person as such because, you know, these folks are on code. So they're not going to just come right out and say it. But this is clear to me. But I'm going to get off my soapbox. Brother Tad, your thoughts on this senseless murder of Sade Robinson by Maxwell Anderson?
I'm at a loss for words, Sister Keisha. That's a beautiful young sister, and my heart goes out to the family, particularly being a father of beautiful black girls. And I'm glad I had this conversation when they were younger. And as you said, they're reluctant to state that he's a serial killer. But isn't it coincidental that they're finding remains of other females, and just because they haven't identified them, they don't want to acknowledge as what it is? And it's like, is this a dumping ground for women? Is this what's going on? And I mean, me as a father, I don't like rape. I don't like murder. I don't like, let me not say the N word, but I don't like this stuff that goes on with our women and our children. And it's so unfortunate. And this is why it's so important. We constantly have these conversations with our children at an early age, because this is a young woman. We've seen this happen with grown people. You know, we could go back to what's the brother name? James Byrd of Jasper, Texas. A grown man. And what did these men say? Oh, that was our friend, and we were playing with him. For those who may not remember, about almost 30 years now, Sister Keisha, there was a brother tied to the back of a pickup truck and drugged to his death till his body fell apart. They drove at high speeds, and he was decapitated, and his limbs was detached from his body. And when they caught the two men, of course, Urugu, European folks, they said, oh, that was our friend. We were just playing. That wasn't intentional. Who plays like that? But this is the psychosis of who they are and what we're dealing with. A lot of them can mask it very well. Sister Keisha, even in the transition of OJ, I was looking at an interview of Judge Joe Brown, and he was saying that Nicole Simpson's handyman, was it Nicole Brown Simpson? Her handyman was of the same ilk. He was a serial deleter. Connected with how many people? It was a bunch. But he was her handyman. And not once did they look at him as a suspect. And that people think OJ just got off scot-free knows because there was video evidence of them trying to frame OJ. So this whole thing, the vilification of black people, the justification of what they do to us. Even when we look back historically with the Venus Hottentot and just what they say about black women. Don't listen to her cry. She's faking it. We don't feel pain. You can look in Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington wrote about it with Dr. Marion J. Sims, who would perform operations on black women and children with no anesthesia and said, don't listen to their cries. Even when it came to people forcing themselves on our women, oh, don't listen to her cry. She really likes that. And then again, let's go back to Tom Burrell with this constant diet of negative images, self-hate, and genocide. We are active participants and not using this as justification. This is what they would use as justification when you got songs like Pound Town and people just want to twerk and run around here. You can't even go to dinner without some sisters jumping on a table, gyrating like they're in a strip club. And then they use this as evidence to justify their demonic, sadistic behaviors. So we, family, those of us who know better, have to show better. We have to put this on our daughters, our cousins, our nieces, our neighbors, our granddaughters. We have to let them know that there's a wickedness out there that's using this social engineering that they made up of who we are as Black folks in America to justify their sickness. Because as we was discussing a couple of weeks ago, you got the book The Delectable Negro, which I could not finish. They enjoy this stuff. This is who they are. And I'm gonna step off my soapbox because there's so much more I can say, but I don't want to say because the language.
As Brother Tad mentioned, listen to this interview with Judge Joe Brown and Scott Peterson. What's his name? Jesse Lee Peterson.
Reverend.
Crazy Jesse Peterson. Crazy Jesse Peterson.
Anyway, let's listen to that clip and we'll come back and we'll discuss it. Hold on, family.
To get away with murder.
No, I looked at all the evidence they had and talked to the experts. They never should have brought the charge against him. And 4 of the chief detectives that were involved in that OJ case wound up doing time in California for planting evidence. And as a matter of fact, if you saw the entire trial, there are several instances where evidence was planted and it's recorded on tape. The main reason the American public thinks she got away with something is because there was a sleaze known as Nancy Grace who's still around, and that was her first reporting thing. And she hyped that and put a lot of falsity out there, and the American public believed it because that was the only person they were hearing.
True.
I saw the entirety of the evidence. Nicole and Rod Goldman got their throats slit from ear to ear, their tongues pulled out of the slit with a pair of pliers. The fatal injury was a stab by a left-handed person. OJ was right-handed.
What?
It went in and it did that damage. There were no peripheral strikes. The footprints in the blood showed that somebody with a size 9 shoe, 9.5 shoe, and somebody with a size 9 and somebody with a 10.5 were there on the scene and did it. One of my late brothers actually was the expert the state was going to call until he refuted it. The glove man I know personally, his name is Richard Zuckerwar. He took a tracing of everybody's hand. It was a size large glove that fit Furman. And OJ had a 2XL, which was way too big. Johnny Cochran knew that. So if it does not fit, you must acquit. And you can see Furman actually plant the bloody socks on a video that the jury saw that Nancy Grace refused to talk about. The DNA evidence that condemned them, she said, if you saw what went on, and I recorded all of it and looked at it, the experts said, this doesn't exclude 96,000 people in the LA area. And the person that donated this is from the Northeast Mediterranean or from Sicily.
I got him. That's a.
So the person who committed the homicides was of Mediterranean descent. It ain't OJ. It ain't OJ. Well, it wasn't OJ. But you can't tell folks that. People still got their panties in a bunch about that. You know, we talked about that before. It is what it is. Who cares what these folks are talking about? Nobody does. Sister Marcia, your thoughts on Judge Joe Brown's commentary as it relates to now deceased O.J. Simpson?
Rest well, OJ. Told you, don't go up there looking for havoc, okay? Don't make no havoc. Have a safe passage, you know? But I will say one thing that you could hear the pastor or whoever the guy's name is, like want to refute Judge Joe Brown. He's like, no, but this and but that. You know, some people, again, based on propaganda, wants their own people to burn in hell. And they will make the way for us. And that is so unfortunate because the first person that's going to be on that line is going to be you. Silly person, why do you want OJ to be guilty? What's
just to follow this, you know, what's popular, Sister Marcia. And that's a thing about these internet spaces. people's minds are fickle when certain posts come across their timelines. They become very fickle. Go ahead, Brother Black.
Sister Marcia, wasn't you mad at OJ the last time we had the show?
No, I said OJ is mad. He's gonna be up there trying to, or wherever the spaces where our ancestors live, he's gonna be up there trying to, act on vengeance for all those times that he has been persecuted. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm on OJ's side.
Oh, okay. It didn't sound like it 2 weeks ago.
No. I'm on OJ's side. I just want OJ not to be so mad that he's like, it's all Nicole's fault and still going after her, because now you're just mad. Now you're going to be just mad and still want to act on vengeance just for getting caught up in something when I didn't do it. This other person did it, and your family's still after me. After me.
It is. They don't forget. We're the ones with fickle minds. They don't forget. So moving right along, and we going to stay in the vein of Brother Black a little bit right here. But I was saying last night at the Mackey's group that a lot of our folks really don't understand where technology is and where it's going. And I fear that a lot of our folks are so far behind as far as technology is concerned. When I go about my business, whether I'm in the bank or in a grocery store, riding the subway or whatever, I see a lot of our older folks really, really struggling as far as technology is concerned. And it's like they are in kindergarten when we're at the collegiate level. And, it's very, very disturbing. But, some things are already happening as far as, what these people are planning to do, what they are doing. And when I say people, I mean government entities and corporate entities. If you don't know who Billy Carson is, well, then you Google him on your own time. You should. But anyway, let's play this clip and we'll come back and we'll discuss it. Hold on, family.
Transferring animals into a computer, which they did a monkey, 2045.com. Look it up. For the monkeys in the computer, his mind is, but the body's dead. Then by 2010 or 2012, they were supposed to have been able to transfer a human consciousness into a robot. They've already done that. And the United States as well. DARPA has a project called the Avatar Project. In an Avatar Project, they have a symbiotic link from a soldier underneath a mountain somewhere, like in a bunker, connected to a field robot. And it controls it through a mind connection. If the robot is destroyed, of course, the soldier doesn't die. And the only thing that stopped us from transferring consciousness from one brain to another was data storage. Now we have that solved because Microsoft just came up with the first DNA hard drive. That hard drive could store over 433 petabytes of data. So that's on 1 gram of DNA. It's a drop of DNA. They've been transferring animals into a computer, which they did a monkey, 2045.com. Look.
For those of you who don't know that this type of programs have been taking place for quite some time, you should. You can, check it out at your leisure, 2045.com, and you can read what the U.S. government is into and everything that, Mr. Carson is talking about here is 100. So you have to ask yourselves, with the dumbing down of society, and the manipulation of internet streaming platforms and all of the banter, if you will, that is going on in society to break down society as it is. Please don't think it's far-fetched when Brother Black tells you that certain popular figures are no longer with us and that what you're looking at are avatars. Data has been transferred, can be transferred, from one brain to another. And there are many examples of this, as Brother Black tells you guys often. You can Google it at your own leisure to find out some of the things. I know if I play it here on this platform, we will get flagged. However, these things like what he mentioned, 2045.com, is definitely something real. for y'all to check out. So again, ask yourselves, with the dumbing down of society and the identity thievery that is going on, whether it's with transgenderism or people who are, what do you call those, racial folks and all of this old kind of stuff, do you think that it would be far-fetched for someone to transfer all of the literal data that Sister Keisha, Brother Tad, Sister Marcia, and Brother Black has into some Yoruba folks and develop an AI project to replace us? Do you think that is far-fetched, Sister Marcia?
It's already done. It is already done. They've used so many of our great minds and manipulated them into something else. And some other face is already spewing data. You know, we could even think, what's that guy's name? Tim something or another. You know, he talks a good game.
Tim Wise.
Yes, thank you, brother Tad. He talks a good game, but he will be the first one on the other side with the Confederate flag if need be, because that is the goal. They can tell us anything about us that they want to, but where will they stand at the end of the day? And they will stand with their like partners based on skin. So yes, I believe it's already done. Movies has already shown us that these things are capable. You know, what's his name? Transcendent. The movie Avatar. There are so many movies. Face Off. They've already showed us so many time and time again what they can do. But we choose to not. We just, oh, it's just a movie. That's not going to happen in real life. It's just a movie. Nah, brothers and sisters, movies are coming to life. Art replicating whatever. I'm having mush for brains right now, but
I get your point. Art imitating life.
Yeah.
Life imitating art. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I don't know what's going on with my brain, but you know, this is what's happening right now, and people choose. This is a choice that we're doing right now, not to believe what's coming down the pipe. And if any of us talk to people, real talk, outside of our base, they say that we're crazy. Oh, you're just a lunatic. You're always on that black stuff, blackety black. I could do it. I don't have to worry about somebody else who did it before me. The only reason why you're fighting right now is because, like we've said before, there is no protection. So you got to do it all over again and say that I did it and start creating protections over it. We've done so many things that we continue to repeat the cycle. And this is part of our arrested development, that we keep doing the same thing over and over again because we still haven't gotten victory off of one step or one stage of something that we've done. But that's it for me.
Brother Ty, your thoughts?
Yeah, because I have a lot to say, and it's going to be a lot. All right. They're just finding out what we've been knew, that our DNA is passed down. That's why we're so adamant about what it is that we do, us four and the people that are tuned in. We understand that on a cellular level, that we have adopted our ancestors' consciousness, even when it comes to the point of deja vu. Now that scientists and astrophysicists are saying that we are in a simulation of a greater intelligence. If we understand why they call the brain the gray matter, because the way thoughts work is it's electric impulses. Because remember, we're created of all the elements that's on a periodic table. We have iron, copper, zinc, gold, silver, nickel, aluminum. All of that is in our body. But we keep forgetting about the original computer. And this is how the universe works. I constantly listen to the book Think and Grow Rich if I'm not sitting there reading it. This morning I was listening to it. I think it was chapter 3, and it was talking about a child that was born with no ears. But then some company sent him a hearing aid, and how he was able to decipher sounds through electromagnetic impulses through the skeletal system, sending the message. Because remember, everything works on vibrations. You know, some people don't believe it's true. Everything is frequency. We are all connected to each other all around the world based on frequency that we call Wi-Fi. See, we've already known this stuff. And then to Marcia's point, that they've been giving you a movie and television show, movie after television show about simulations, was the movie The Matrix. This automatically made me think of a television show on HBO called Westworld that I used to like. They used to transform people's consciousness.
Yes.
And I want folks to know there is no such thing as science fiction. History has taught us that. Henry Ford said he will make a motorized carriage because remember, before the advent of a car, there was no car. There was just horse and buggy. Prior to that, there was no horse and buggy. People just rode horses. So we always tap into our imagination. The one thing that we constantly talk about here is owning your power. Owning your power. As I stated, we already had this knowledge. Now, the thing is, we have to act on the knowledge we already possess, not as a defense on what they're trying to do because they Johnny-come-latelys. We have to organize with a strong offense. That's why I keep saying pistols and passports is the minimum we can do. Just get out of here, go somewhere, huddle and regroup because this is a spiritual war. They're just trying to take over our body. But we have to be mindful that, yes, this is a simulation. What do they say? What they say, Brother Black? We are gods having a human experience. So show me in any religious text that the devil has beaten the creator. Show me anywhere. There's always a challenge. There's always a challenge. Even the Asarian drama with Asar, Aset, and Heru and Set. There's a point where Set looks like he's winning, but then again, Heru dominates Set. And that's what we got to get in the mindset of. We're not victims. We are victors. This is why we're having this conversation. This is why we already possess the information before they even let it out. This is Blacksmith field of expertise because he was thorough in the research of it all. But it's not like the information is not out there. And here we are putting it in your lap, audience. We're giving you the tools. We're pointing you in a direction because we can't do the work for you. It's just like exercising. You can want to lose weight all you want. I could do your homework. I could do your dishes. I can't lose weight for you. You have to put in the work. And that's what we're here. We're here to help you as we help ourselves as well, because we don't know everything. However, as we learn, we're going to share this knowledge because we can't be defeated. Only way we could be defeated if we surrender. And I say that because I constantly tell everybody, own your power. That's what a fight is. A fight is someone trying to dominate you and take your power, but you're going to retain your power. And in essence, resist them, resist their efforts. Because it sounds spooky, it sounds scary, but there's nothing that has been able to crush us. Nothing. Not slavery, not the biochemical wars, none of this stuff, not even the misinformation. So I say to y'all, look deeper into this. Open your mind. Think outside your circle of awareness. Because for some people, some of the stuff they never heard, so it sounds crazy. We might sound like lunatics right now. But this stuff is researchable. You can look this stuff up and get the information. But we've been talking about this since times of antiquity. When you go back to the Kemetic science, we've already talked about this stuff. Our story is written in stone in ancient Kemet, which some people call Egypt. We know who we are. And our ancestors wrote it in stone because they knew at some point we may forget who we are. So we're here to remind you that can't nothing beat you, nothing crush you. So don't have no fear of none of this stuff they talking about because it's a fear mechanism. But I'm going to step off my soapbox. Brother Blacksmith.
So from where I'm coming from, I'm going to try to explain this dynamic. Let's say you have a cell phone in your hand and you can cast it to what's showing on your cell phone to a television. Now, just because it came from the cell phone doesn't mean it's the source. You had to get it from a source who created it. So that's the only real original. But at the same time, all three are the same thing in different devices. So this is what they do with the consciousness and the memory, because we got to remember that. Like he said at the end, and that was something I would have mentioned had he even not said that I don't remember how many, it's so many now. You can store so much on a molecule of DNA. 2 weeks ago, when you wasn't on the show, I was explaining to Sister Marcia, or to the panel as well, and to those out there listening, that with the 70 trillion cells you have in you, each one's a planets, and there's still more planets out there than there are inside of each cell in our bodies. So, to understand that, I don't even understand it, but I know what it is when I hear it, to say it to y'all so you could understand how infinite this really can be, and even beyond what we're talking about. That's
yeah, even to your point, Brother Black. Take a notice of when you're outside in nature, how your body reacts to grass on your feet or sun on your face or a body of water that's near you. Pay attention to how your body reacts, and it gives you all the answers that you need. Everything that Tad and Brother Black and Sister Marcia have laid out can be confirmed just in your feeling with being out in the world. But moving on, as we must. Damn, it's 9:30 already. We have another story. A young sister who was relocated to a small town in Georgia. I believe it's called Brainsville or Brandsville, Georgia. And in this particular town of Georgia, every Wednesday, excuse me, at 2 p.m., they go outside and honor the slave trade and the Confederacy. This is real life in Georgia today, not yesterday, but today. So let's hear the sister's experience, and we'll come back and we'll discuss it. Hold on, family.
Transferred to an area, Barnesville, Georgia, that was like being thrown back into the 50s of people yelling the N-word at us to get off their lawn, telling us they're going to get their gun. They still, on Wednesdays, everything was closed until 2 p.m. in honor of the slave trade. During that time, everything would be closed so that people could go to the auction blocks.
What?
Yeah. And so they still honored that all the way in 2013. And it was because that town was a slave town where they would do, like, the railroad came through it, and that's until 2 p.m. there would be auctions. I was just full on scared for my life, and I learned very quickly, like, to not go to the houses that had any Confederate flag hanging. It was scary, and it was a lot, like, emotionally to deal with.
So again, family, watch how you move about.
She said she was transferred. This is through a job, or
through employment. So transfer to that town. Something similar happened to me in the early 90s. I was working for a men's apparel company, and one of their factories and warehouse locations was in a small town called Brewston, Tennessee. And you can literally drive through the town. That's how small it is. But where the factories were located, they were right across the roadway from some cotton fields. Now, it's me and two other black people in the vehicle, in a van, and the rest of the people in the van were Caucasian. So, one of the women who was running the factory in Brewston, Tennessee, she asked me, of all people, would I like to go across the field to pick some cotton? Well, we know how that conversation went. Y'all can only imagine how the conversation. But first thing I said was, "How you gonna ask me? Why you ask these white folks in this van if they want to go across the field and pick cotton?" So again, when you're traveling through these small towns, you got to be aware of your surroundings, people, especially today, because a lot of folks are still ticked off of your former president Barack Obama's 2 terms. And they got a lot to prove in these towns. A couple of years ago, I had to stay in Cobb County for a family reunion in Atlanta, and we're staying in Cobb County. You come up on some of these roads, residential roads, and you have big, huge Confederate flags that greet you at the top of these roadways. So much so that one of my relatives was a little afraid when we was going through there. And what I had to do was, to reassure her that,
Hey, Sister Keisha, there's a real bad echo going on in here somewhere. I'm not hearing everything you're saying.
All right, I think we got it now. So when you riding through some of these towns, you better be aware of your surroundings. When we were in Cobb County, we would driving back to our hotel late at night, and you come up on these dark roads. I think Atlanta just recently got some street lights. All these black folks with money, by the time y'all get some goddamn street lights in Atlanta, because they traffic is horrible when it comes at night. I'm telling you, they ain't got no damn lights. So they finally got some lights, but there is some surveillance in these new lights. I don't know if you guys have heard what's happening in Atlanta, but I just want you all to be aware that you have towns who are succeeding from their black neighbors. You have white folks who have managed to form their own court systems to deal with their issues. You have black women who are popping up missing all over the place, being unalived out here. You have brothers who are being lynched. Be aware of your surroundings, family. Please be aware of your surroundings. Sister Marcia, your thoughts on what this sister was saying that takes place in Barnesville, Georgia today.
You got to go where work tells you to go, right? Since you're under somebody's employment. But I wonder how her life is. Like, is she one of those girls that was singing dun, 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 N, dun, 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 N? And now that you really understand what the N means, it's like, oh my God, they called me N. And I wonder if that experience has her speaking to her family and her community about using that word and how it affected her, because she seemed truly affected. And
very much so.
Right. And there are so many subliminal things that happen here in New York City on a particular day at a particular time, and that you don't really understand what's going on, but they do keep that in play. There is some underbelly conversation that goes on between peoples, not us, because we don't have that recall, but that is happening constantly. And until we ourselves can start having those level of inside conversations of doing something at a particular hour, at a particular time, on a particular day, each and every week, you want to grow great, you gotta be willing to do sacrifices. And these people don't have to do sacrifices. They do it up front in your faces, and that's it. But we want to be great. We have to be willing to do sacrifices. And are we willing to do that?
Most definitely. Let's remember, you have your wealthy white citizens succeeding from Baton Rouge Parish to form their own, a whites only town. But let's take a look at the Magnolia Mound Plantation that's still standing in Baton Rouge today.
Keep your lamp trimmed and a burning. Keep your lamp trimmed and a burning. Keep your lamp trimmed and a burning. Oh, the work is most done. Sister, don't get worried. Sister, don't to get worried. Sister, don't to get worried. All the work is most done. Keep your lamp trimmed and a burning. Keep your lamp trimmed and a burning. Keep your lamp trimmed and a burning. Oh, keep.
So again, trying to erase the erasure of history. This campaign to do so must be dealt with. At the same time, we must be very much aware of our history, and make sure we visit places like this, see places like this, so that we let those who are in responsibility of caring for these towns don't destroy this legacy and this history. So, for those of you who are in Louisiana, if you can get down to Baton Rouge and visit the Magnolia Mound, let us know. Let us know what it's like down there. We might take a trip down there. You never know where you're going to find any of the Thorough Black Talk crew. We be all over the place. You never know. And then the summer is coming, and we have some trips that we are planning, some museum trips that we are working on. And maybe you want to join us if you're in the tri-state area. So get ready. The summer is upon us. We're what May 3rd? Is today the 3rd? I don't know.
The second. Today's the second.
Thank you, Brother Tad. But we have to also remember that as we come up on what a lot of folks call Cinco de Mayo, May 5th is very important in Black history. Your homework assignment for this week is to find out what that history is on May 5th for Black people, or what some folks call Cinco de Mayo. That's your homework assignment for the week. So,
as inspired by Haiti.
Facts, brother. But I wanted to show this story real quick because we're coming down to the last 15 minutes of the program. And when it comes to these transgender folks, they don't like to talk about these stories, but it comes across our timeline. And what we do over here is news, history, and politics. So we definitely gonna talk about this trans freak over here. Here we go.
Released an edited video showing an attempted kidnapping at an elementary school in Aurora. Parents get a briefing on this incident today. Now, the suspect, Solomon Galligan, has a long criminal history, but also a long history of mental health problems. His family also believes that the system has failed in this case. And that is where we begin our team coverage for you tonight. Tori Mason, your reporter in Aurora, and Tori, parents have been pushing the district for answers.
Answers and accountability. This has parents all over shaken up. It's just a reminder that these things can happen. Now, how this happened and who's going to be held responsible are what parents want to know now.
Surveillance cameras caught the terrifying moment, an attempted kidnapping at school. Solomon Galligan is seen approaching students and lunging at a child before falling down. Parents have now seen what their kids experienced.
It was hard. It was really hard.
Dante White's child was there.
We hope that children embellish a little bit, but the footage there showed.
He watched the video with other families directly impacted at a meeting with the superintendent and district officials.
They did admit fault. They did apologize. And now next steps are to schedule a secondary meeting, right? Because we prescribed a couple of items that we wanted done.
Among the requests are safety training, more fencing, and new surveillance equipment. They're calling for an independent investigation.
We want the people put on administrative leave. We want people fired.
The district says they're committed to keeping students safe.
We're looking at exactly what happened, what transpired afterwards as well.
The district says improvements are being made. Staff has reviewed all safety protocols and additional supports were added.
And we also changed the supervision areas that teacher assistants had on recess to make sure that all students were visible.
White says school leaders must be held accountable.
Adults that are supposed to be trained professionals, and they weren't. They categorically failed across the board.
It's crazy. And people don't like to deal with the mental defect of these folks. 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, those people or these folks who transition have some sort of mental defect that isn't being addressed. This guy Galligan is no different right now. He's in the Aurora jail on $25,000 bail, and I hope he remains there. When you're trying to kidnap children, you should remain right there. Don't let him out. Sister Farnessa, you're right. It's like The Walking Dead. That's exactly what he looks like, Sister Farnessa. Exactly what he looks like. Brother Tad, your thoughts on this story?
They should have kicked his ass, drunk or not. And I don't even know why we have to know he smelled of alcohol, because subconsciously they trying to infer that that's probably part of the problem. They don't want to say that these transmissions have mental health issues. So they'll say, yeah, he reeked of alcohol. Let's blame it on the alcohol. Let him back out. He can use the little girl's bathroom. Next time he know to be a little more smooth with his attempt on abductions. I'm like, for real, Sister Keisha, I'm just like, why I don't be in these places? So I be liking to put hands on people. That's what I go to the gym for. You know, we got to defend the community. But they know where to play that crazy stuff at, too. But let me tell you, in jail, every crazy dude is sane. Because pain is universal.
Say that again, Brother Tad.
In jail, every crazy dude is sane. Because he know, chances are, you're going to get your head bust. Ain't nobody going to try to negotiate and converse with you. You're just going to get your head bust. I've seen them come in. They act crazy. But as soon as they get in that house, they just go to their cell, sit in the corner, and quiet as a church mouse. Because pain is a universal language that everybody speaks. That's how you tame a lion. Give him a little taste of pain. That lion gonna fall in line. I'm telling you, so that's what we need to do. Start just really putting hands and feet on people. God worked through the hands of man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Just put them hands and feet, like Brother Tad said, and be done with it. That's what I'm talking about. That's the language I understand. You know, and Brother Tad, no, that's the language I understand. You know,
Brooklyn style.
That's it. You know, for the
they don't do that in the
young
Bronx.
lady out there in Boston, you know, you should kiss Brother Tad's feet. If you ever see him again, you should kiss his feet because he saved you from getting $1.50 across your face.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not a little bit. I'm not as reserved.
You and Brother Salih.
That's it. We was about to handle things. That's
Brother
it.
Salih said, I ain't that conscious.
There you go. We gave each other the look, and it was supposed to go in, yo. I'm telling y'all, I wish Sister Marcia and Brother Black could have been there for that. Because, listen, all I saw was red. But the more she talked, the hotter my face got.
Next time, and y'all not gonna be able to stop me because my hands are quick. I'll be going in real quick. They be like, "Oh, wow, why'd you do that?" Oh, sorry about that.
Almost caught a case out there.
Facts. I don't got time. I'm not listening. As Brother Tad said, hands and feet. And a lot of times it's very, very necessary, especially with a lot of these folks who got diarrhea of the fingers in these internet spaces. I was talking about that last night at the Mackey's book club meeting. And, you know, a lot of people, I use the example of the Beehive, but a lot of these people, in these social media spaces are real slick with the things that they, you know, share or put out or comment that they would never do in person. They ain't about their life in person, but behind the computer screens, they got all this angst. So, you know, it can get you riled up. But, you know, as I always say, you know, I have no time for shenanigans. So keep it away from me so that your life is saved and I don't go to the penitentiary. So, you know, it is what it is. So as it comes down, go ahead, Brother Tad. Go ahead.
In light of what you just said, reminds me, like, remember the wild 2000s when Facebook was new and people was wilding out on it as soon as you say something they don't like? You know what I used to do? You know what I started doing after Messenger came out? I call them. It's always a different story if they pick up.
Right.
I'm gonna call. We ain't gonna put none of this online or whatever on public. We're gonna talk about it. Now what? Yo, what up? That's how they used to answer the phone. Nah, you know what? I'm drinking over here. I was just playing. Bruh, what I do is for real. I'm one of the realists at what I do. So don't clown, because then I'm gonna just block you. But I figured, let me talk to you and see if the smoke come like that. Most of them wind up being my best friends after a while. Don't do that. I don't do that. I don't play like that. Yeah. Okay, Sis Keys. That's what I wanted to say.
It's funny you say that, right,
Go
Black?
ahead,
Because
Brother
when
Black,
it
go
first
ahead.
started, real quick, when Facebook first started, somebody tried that. And I told them, bruh, don't forget, I know you, and I haven't grown that much. Don't let this Facebook conscious, because, you know, I try to post positivity, used to post motivational stuff. I'm like, I'm not that far gone. It's just my mother's on here, my grandmother's on here. I ain't going to talk crazy, but you know what I do. Because they know I got a hand problem. I got a hand problem. My hands do more talking than my mouth gonna do. But it's funny because, like Sister Keisha said, you know, them Twitter fingers, boy, they got courage. But what we always say, man, internet is the coward's playground.
It sure the hell is, boy. I'm telling you, I be seeing some of these posts. I'm like, child, listen. That's why I check IP addresses. I'm not playing with you, because I'm gonna come see you. It ain't gonna be nice. It ain't gonna be nice. I'm not coming to play. But we're coming down to the end of our program. Family time went by very, very fast.
Yeah.
There is a petition on the Facebook page of Thorough Black Talk that we are asking you all to sign. It's from change.org, and it's to get rid of that animated Good Times program on Netflix. And if you can, cancel your subscription. To do so, the imagery of Black people is going too far, and enough is enough. A shout out to the CMOTAP organization. They had a great panel discussion last week, Saturday. I didn't myself get a chance to see all of it. I was in and out, but I told in its entirety. It was very well put together. So shout out to the CMOTAP organization. So you can check that out on our Facebook page and sign it. We definitely appreciate that. Also, for those of you in the tri-state area, really around the world, because people come from around the world to take place in the TD5 Borough Bike Tour this Sunday that is taking place. I'm tired. I've been riding my bike, trying to get ready
You riding,
for.
sis?
Of course. I just hope it's not a downpour. They said we should expect rain on Sunday, but I just hope it's not a downpour, because I absolutely hate riding my bike in a downpour. But we will see how it works out. For those of you who have analog bikes, and you would like to try out an electric bike and don't want to spend the money to do so, you can purchase what is now called a clip. You can clip it onto your front wheel, and it literally turns your bike, your analog bike, into an e-bike with 15 miles per hour on the pedal assist. So you can try that if you want to. For those of you who are riding in the bike tour, I guess you can get it shipped overnight, pay for that shipping if you want it. But I'm excited and looking forward to it. I'm riding with a group, a national group. They have a chapter here in New York, Black Girls Do Bike. So I will be riding with them this year. So I will see all of you ladies out there on the trail. So, Brother Tad, you riding this year or no?
Nope. I'm not riding. Sister
I wonder if
Tam,
Sister
and
Tam.
she said she's not. Her and my man Will, our coworker Will, he said he's not doing it because it's normally a group of us, and it's because of the rain. One year we rode in the freezing rain, Sister Keisha. The freezing rain. So we have Black Will and Spanish Will, and Black Will said he's not riding. Spanish Will actually gave us gloves. He had extra gloves and everything, kept us warm. I was like, good looking, bro. But yeah, not this year. I will not ride this year, though I was going to. I'm gonna get back into my riding and running because my bike is just calling me. It's calling me. I actually was gonna go riding today, but you know we have the show this afternoon. So, this is a beautiful day today.
Yes, perfect for riding. I went out about 6 o'clock this morning to give me a quick ride in before I started my day. So again, family, for those of you who want to try what an electrical bike feels like, and you don't want to spend that bread, I think the clip costs about $400 or $500. I think that's the price of them. But there is no wiring involved, anything like that. You just clip it onto your front wheel, and it turns into a pedal assist bike. So, getting ready to close out, Brother Black. Your final thoughts and commentary. Let's be out.
Yes, sister. The panel is a great show. Thank y'all. Thank you for having me as always. I just want to ask anybody on the panel or anybody listening or anybody in the future, if you could, I need a phone. And because I don't have a phone, I don't have a Cash App. So if you can contribute, I will ask if you can send it to Sister Keisha. If you keep in contact with her, help me out, please. I need that phone so that I can do certain things that I can't do without it. And appeal to y'all for your generosity. That's all I'm going to say because we almost on 2 hours. I ain't trying to go over time. Sister Keisha, Sister Marcia, Brother Tad, peace and love. Let's go home.
Sister Marcia, your final thoughts and commentary.
Thank you, family, for a wonderful conversation on the brainwashing of our people. Sign the petition. It's very important. I am an advocate of this petition because, we have to protect our children. Our minds are not susceptible. Well, maybe some of us, but a few of our minds are not susceptible to the propaganda, and we may understand what's happening. But our babies are going to watch this show and just absorb it as if it was free content and want to emulate this content. And we don't need any more of this ruckus going on in our communities. So bear in mind that this petition is to protect the minds of our children. So share it, do whatever you do with it, but make sure it goes far. What else do I have to say? Good luck on your bike ride. I will be there in spirit. Maybe I'll come out to Manhattan and see you and wave. Hi, Sister Keisha.
Well, we're gonna ride past Queens.
No, I won't be in Queens. So yeah. So I will see you on the freeway.
Yes,
all right, family. All right. Our sister Veronica just posted that CMO Tap will be having another Zoom with the same number on May 11th. So tap in with the family at CMO Tap. Shout out to Dr. James McIntosh. Definitely good brother. Been doing the work a long time. And again, family, please, if you can, get the book, Sundown Towns. Sundown Towns, a hidden dimension of American racism. All right, it bring a lot of current events into context. So hopefully you were inspired by something you heard tonight. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
Again, family, we thank you guys for tuning in with us for another Black Thursday. Joining us on the Brooklyn Bridge. Y'all stay safe out there. Keep your head on the swivel. Don't get caught up in the shenanigans. And we'll see you Black again next week, Thursday, as our brother Ashe SJ always says. True courage is knowing how to suffer. The battlefield is where